everybody, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Crystal and this is This Provincial Life. Today I'm going to be doing a spoiler-free review of The Pearl That Broke Its Shell by Nadia Hashimi. And this is a book that follows two women in Afghanistan. So we have one woman who's Rahima, and she's modern day. She's about 13 years old, and she is in a family of all sisters. And within this culture, that is a very sad thing to be in a family with only sisters, because like males are very much like renowned and not renowned, but like they are almost like placed at a higher level than women. Well, they aren't almost, they are. And so this family is very shamed because they don't have men in their family, and so that's Rahima's story. And then you have Shakiba, who is actually Rahima's great-great-grandmother. And so you follow Shakiba as she's about Rahima's age and how she lives her life and how her life is different from Rahima's. And so they are connected by Rahima's aunt Shaima. Shaima has a disability. She was born with some back problems, and so she has a hunch, and she also has like a very slow gait, and her legs don't work as well. And so she was actually never married, and she kind of tells Rahima the story of her great-great-grandmother Shakiba. And so Rahima uses these stories as kind of a jumping off point for her to really truly learn what it's like to be a woman within this culture. And that's kind of where it starts off. And I don't want to go into too much more detail because it is kind of fun to read as you put these pieces together and see how what Rahima is learning about Shakiba and how those choices interact and help her make her choices. And I really like that. And so it is extremely well done. I really enjoyed it. And it's all about women's equality and women's rights. And even though that these families, like women cannot vote, they cannot, there's a lot of things they cannot do. And, but even though in this oppressed society, they are still being progressive. Like the women, they're finding ways to fight for their rights, and I like that. I like to be able to see feminism in a way where it's not necessarily portrayed in the same way we see them in North America, but it's still equality and it's still women's rights, and it's done very well. The character development is really good. They make some really amazing changes. The pacing is probably one of the hardest things for me in this book because it is very slow moving. It's not meant to be a fast read. It took me nearly 2 months to finish this book. I'm glad I read it because it opened my eyes to a lot of different cultures, and it opened my eyes to the culture in Afghanistan and some of the cultural things they still do there, and that aren't necessarily something we see every day here in the States. And the writing style was very slow moving. And then like some of the themes were kind of reiterated a little bit too much, where I felt like, yes, I understand, I'm getting it. I don't need you to bang me over the head with this theme, like I'm understanding it. Because I don't like to read books that kind of push a political stance. I like something that comes and like gives it to you in a neutral way and you make the decision. And there were a few moments where I was like, please don't make assumptions about the reader. And I felt like sometimes that happened, but it definitely wasn't bad. I enjoyed it. I ended up giving this 3.5 out of 5 stars. I did feel like sometimes it dragged and they were kind of repeating themselves, and I feel like it could have done well with another pass through or edit to just kind of clean it up and make it a little bit more succinct. But overall, I really enjoyed it. If you like to read about different cultures and specifically about like women's rights and equality in other countries and where they are at, or where at least this story is at, I definitely recommend it. It's very moving. I would say a trigger warning for abuse, because there is some of that. So some sexual abuse and some physical abuse and some emotional abuse. It's definitely not heavily prevalent, but it's enough where it made my heart hurt, for these women. And so if that is something that's very triggering to you, I would recommend maybe not picking it up and choosing a different story, but definitely give it a shot. I really enjoyed it, and hopefully you guys will too. Bye!